Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Beef Up Front podcast, a little Thursday night football edition, leading you probably right when this is wrapping up into the 15 minutes or so up till kickoff for Thursday night football. We left out the Thursday night game as part of our Big Five this week between the Seahawks and the 49ers, but we'll give a quick prediction on that. But Kev, a exciting week in the NFL last week, I think. I think both of our best like combined records to start the season on our picks, starting to see the board a little bit better slowly and slowly. But week six already, pretty insane. The stupid Eagles are back on the field this week. Don't even want to watch that game at this point against the Browns. But welcome back, and how are we?
Great, yeah. Hopefully, we can keep it rolling this week and starting to get a better feel on every team in the league.
Yeah, more and more data coming out. Still some teams like the Bengals. Surprised to see them sitting where they are at 1-4. Um, the Browns, I know they're the Browns, but like they were still expected to at least be a playoff team, playoff contention. They look like they could be the worst team in the entire league right now. So we'll touch on it all. Our top five games of the week, as well as our lock of the week, our dog of the week, and now we are adding a little segment at the end. We're both picking an anytime touchdown score. We'll throw that in a two-leg parlay to wrap up the show, and look to cash and do a little fun pick at the end of the show each week, Kev. But started off real quick hitter. We have Seahawks 49ers tonight. Seahawks at home as a 3.5 point dog. I saw something earlier. Seahawks are 20-0 against the spread since 2008 when they have a home game, and they're riding a 2-game losing streak. So take with that what you will. But what do you got in that game tonight?
Yeah, I think the Niners end up covering the spread. Seems like they're maybe starting to get things going without McCaffrey, and then the Seahawks started out hot, starting to come back down to earth a little bit.
I like the Seahawks tonight. I don't know to win the game, but I took it at +3.5 earlier in the week. I could see that being a field goal game, losing by three. They've had their number, though. The 49ers have had the Seahawks number over the past 5 to 6 times. So a little bit worried about that, but Seahawks, tough place to play on a 2-game losing streak. It's a big game for them to try and keep afloat in the division, and even kind of get a leg up on the 49ers while the 49ers are recovering from all these injuries. So I think the Seahawks have a shot to win tonight, but I do have them to cover. That's my play in that game. All right, we'll get into our big five games of the week now. We fast forward to Sunday. We have a London game that didn't crack the list this week. We go to 1 o'clock though, and really excited to see this one. And never thought I would say this, but I enjoy watching the Washington Commanders play football. They're playing a fun brand of football right now. They're sitting at 4-1 to start out the year. They travel to Baltimore to play the 3-2 Ravens. 1 o'clock kick on CBS. Ravens still a 6.5 point favorite, over under 51.5. Thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, the Ravens winning 33, Commanders 27. So the Commanders cover the 6.5 over 51.5. The Commanders, like you said, have looked really good this year. They're playing really good, and Jaden's just playing at a super high level. The Ravens have also been playing really good, especially as of late after that slow start and those couple losses and a little bit of a scare to start the season. They are the two top scoring offenses in the league, and the Ravens normally don't blow teams out. So I think we're going to get a high scoring, close game. And the Commanders' defense has been doing enough to get W's, but they haven't played anyone like Lamar and Derrick Henry until this week, obviously. And I think Lamar and Derrick Henry have a big day again, as both of them are averaging over 6 yards a carry throughout the entire season. I think Jaden Daniels, again, will show that he is legit, but the Commanders are still a year or two away from competing with the top tier teams in the NFL.
Yeah, I think this could be not a coming to earth type of game, but a little bit of a pump the brakes on the Commanders type of situation. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if they go to Baltimore and win with the way that Baltimore's defense has played to start the year and the way the Commanders' offense has played. But shout out to them, and they look impressive. I think that they're the team to beat in the NFC East right now. Maybe the Eagles figure out some stuff coming out of the bye and fully healthy on offense. But they're a really fun and exciting team to watch, and I think the future's certainly bright for them as they surround Jaden Daniels with some more weapons. But the Commanders are averaging 38 points per game over their last three, and Jaden Daniels has looked awesome. I think if he continues at this pace, he's certainly going to be there in the MVP conversation as well as a rookie. But maybe he hits like that rookie wall at one point and slows down a little bit. Um, like I said at the beginning, I think that they're a live dog in this one. Big dogs have been cashing at a high rate this year against the spread and straight up. And we saw last week, Ravens defense is still struggling, and they do lay some eggs every once in a while. However, we do see rookie quarterbacks, how sustainable is their success? They'll have 3 good games, they'll have a bad game. And that's for any quarterback in the league. As more film kind of continues to come out on Daniels, and I do think an important kind of thing to monitor in this game, he plays a very similar style as Lamar Jackson, using his legs. So you have to think the Ravens defense or Ravens coaching staff is kind of used to seeing this and dealing with this on a daily basis at practice. I think that could play a big factor in this one. I do think, like you said, Lamar and Derrick Henry, they'll have their way in a shootout here, but the Commanders do keep it within the number. But the Ravens win this game at home. I'll go Ravens 31, Commanders 27. So Commanders plus 6.5 in the over of 51.5 hit in there. We go to a divisional matchup down in the NFC South, the 3-2 Bucks at the 2-3 Saints for a 1:00 kick on Fox. Bucks 3.5-point favorites here on the road, over under 45.5. Spencer Rattler starting at quarterback for the Saints. Derek Carr out with an oblique injury.
Yeah, I have the Bucks winning relatively big, 24-10. So the Bucks do cover the 2.5, but the under 45.5. I just don't see the Saints being able to win with rookie Spencer Rattler. Immediately after hearing that Rattler was the star, I started thinking about how he would fare against the Todd Bowles defense. And actually, I was a little bit surprised by this. Since arriving in 2019 to Tampa, Bowles is 10-6 against rookie QBs. Good, but not great. But I do think the Bucs offense is going to be able to do enough to outscore the Saints. Baker has just been absolutely awesome this year at the top of the league in almost all QB stats. He's completing 72% of his passes for over 1,100 yards, 11 TDs, and only 2 picks. And then outside, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin have proven that they're still a great duo. And I think the Bucs win, and it isn't super close.
Yeah, this is a spot that last week when it opened, and I think it was before Derek Carr got ruled out. The Saints opened this game as a 2.5-point favorite here, and I think I still would have taken the Bucs because I was talking about it last week. I think the Bucs are a damn good team, and they let that one slip away at Atlanta last week. Atlanta, Kirk Cousins with some magic there at the end, but this game is now flipped to 3.5, and I really like the Bucs in the spot with a rookie quarterback in Rattler, as you were talking about, against a Todd Bowles defense. That's a tough first matchup in your first real NFL action. That's a welcome to the league type of moment. One of the heaviest blitz defenses in the entire league. Tampa blitzes on the 8th most plays of any team, blitzing about 30% of their defensive snaps. So it's going to be a tough adjustment, I think, for Rattler, and especially a guy that's not the biggest quarterback, and he's not a guy that has the most size, and he's going to be taking a lot of hits and not really seeing over the line that much, getting all this pressure in your face. It could get ugly, I think, for Rattler. Maybe even look at interception props, like a 2+ interception prop for Spencer Rattler, I think could be in the play there. But since Baker took over at quarterback for the Bucs as well, they're 15-9 against the spread. That's the 4th best number in the entire league. They let one get away last week against the Falcons, but they had some extended rest. Saints on a short week coming off a Monday night football game. Bucs played on Thursday. I think that's another reason why a good spot here for the Bucs, and you're throwing this rookie quarterback in the mix on a short week as well. So give me the Bucs in the spot, 24-13. I think Spencer Rattler really struggles in this one. Bucs minus 3.5 in the the under of 45.5 hit in there. Third game of the week, we go out to Denver for an AFC West game. The 2-2 Chargers at the 3-2 Broncos. 4:05 kick on CBS. Chargers a 3-point favorite. Over under is 36.5.
Yeah, I have the Chargers winning 20 to the Broncos 14. So Chargers minus 3, under 36.5. Both teams are averaging under 20 points a game, so I don't expect to see a shootout. I think you can kind of see that with me going under 36.5. The Broncos defense has been great to start the year, but quietly so as the Chargers. The Chargers actually rank ahead of the Broncos in terms of points allowed and rushing yards. The Chargers are a little more susceptible through the air, but I'm not super concerned with that when they're facing Bo Nix this week. And the Chargers are coming off a bye, and hopefully they were able to get Herbert and the O-line in better shape with Alt and Slater missing their last game in week 4. I'm going to ride with Herbert and J.K. Dobbins here being able to make enough plays to win a very close, low-scoring game.
It's very odd to hear you picking the Chargers. I feel like you're always against them. I feel like I'm always on the Chargers, but I go with the opposite here as well. I think it's a typical fall flat spot for the Chargers. I think the wrong team is favored in this game. Broncos are playing better. Herbert banged up, and the receiving core, the weapons on that Chargers offense isn't great. If they do win, it's going to be very similar to the score I have predicted. It's going to be a low scoring game. I think that's the only way that this Chargers team can really win right now with what they have at their disposal. But I think it's going to be a hard time for them moving the ball on this Broncos defense and a Broncos team that I think is gaining confidence by the week, especially with a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix, looking like he's starting to get better at the NFL level. I'm going to go Broncos to win this one at home, 20-13. Broncos +3 and the under of 36.5 hit in there. One of my favorite unders of the week. All right, we go to America's game of the week, 4:25 kick on Fox. The 3-1 Detroit Lions coming off a bye, going down to Dallas to play the 3-2 Cowboys, coming off a late Sunday night win against the Steelers on the road after several weather delays. So that's a thing to monitor, I think, in this one. Lions are a 3-point favorite in this game. Over-under is 52.5. Last time we watched this was down the shore in Seattle, a crazy back and forth with the refs and everything. Do we see an exciting game like that in this one?
I don't know about exciting. I didn't think about this game a whole lot. I just think the Lions are going to win. They're coming off the bye, and I just think they're going to outplay this unexplosive and banged up Cowboys team. I do hope the Lions hand the ball off almost every play with Gibbs and Montgomery each going off for like 150 yards. The Cowboys haven't been able to stop the run at all this year, and that's kind of the Lions' identity under Dan Campbell, just run the ball. And they seem to get away from it at times, but if I think they follow their identity, they'll be good in this game against the Cowboys. Dak really is missing weapons outside of CeeDee Lamb, and then on the Lions defensive side of the ball, I think Aiden Hutchinson can be in his face a lot, maybe cause some turnovers. So I'm going Lions 27, Cowboys 23, Lions -3, under 52.5.
Yeah, you know my rule, Kev. I say it, I feel like every week now that the Lions are on, but I will bet the Detroit Lions against the spread every single week until they give me a reason to believe otherwise. Dan Campbell now 40-18 against the spread since taking over in 2021, covering at a 69% clip. That is insane. Some more data and trends in the spot that the Lions are in this week. 17-8 against the spread as a favorite Campbell is as the head coach of the Lions, and 30-13 against the spread against conference opponents. The data is there just to back this team each and every week, and I think the Cowboys are a very mid team. We talked about that last week. I didn't watch a snap of that Sunday night football game because I went to the Phillies and went right to bed, but that was a complete mid versus mid game from what I heard and from what I read and listened to. Two teams that are going to be, going for an 8-9, 9-8 record at the end of the year. I think the Lions are much more on the end of a 12-5 to a 13-4 type of team. And I think that was a really tough game, though, that they did play on Sunday night. In bad weather, on the road, you needed a last-second touchdown drive to win. A lot of emotion. Now you're flying back after Detroit comes off a bye, extended rest. I think this one could get ugly and out of hand down there in Dallas. Dak will have his typical late yards and a touchdown to make it look a little bit closer. But I think that really bad spot for the Cowboys, and I think the Lions blow them out in this one. I'll have Lions 30, Cowboys 20, Lions -3, and the under a 52.5 in there. All right, we go to the last game of the week for our breakdown. We go to Monday night. Last time these two teams played on Monday night at MetLife, Aaron Rodgers pops the Achilles week 1 of last year, but the 3-2 Bills at the 2-3 Jets, the first game without Robert Saleh on the sideline. 8:15 kick on ESPN. Bills 3-point favorites still, over under 41.5. Do you like the interim coach kind of buzz in this one to get the win, Kev?
I normally do. I normally think coach fired midweek, kind of get the team rejuvenated. But I looked into it, or I saw a stat today. Since 2000, teams that fired their coach midseason went on to win the following game only 47% of the time. Last less than 50-50. Like I said, I normally would be one to back the team that fired their coach. But that being said, I think there's a little more going on in New York than Saleh being fired. They're also switching offensive play callers, and it's always cryptic with Aaron Rodgers. You don't know if he was involved with that or it's something he didn't want. And then on top of that, he's just looking a little bit old now, banged up as well. The Bills did look awful last week, so that's why I think you would definitely lean towards the Jets. But they still had a chance to win that game or at least get it into OT, and they frankly just handed the game to the Texans, who are viewed as one of the top tier teams in the league. So I do expect Josh Allen to bounce back this week, especially if Khalil Shakir is able to go. And then I think Keon Coleman is also going to have to continue to step up. He had a nice big play last week. I think the Bills win and look to start building a lead in the AFC East. So Bills 23, Jets 21. The Jets do end up covering the +3 over 41.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with betting on that interim coach in the first week coaching the team. I think from watching Hard Knocks with this team too, this is definitely a team that vibes with the new interim head coach of their former defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich, I believe his name is. And I just like these spots, like the interim coach, the backup quarterback, and then they might revert back to their old ways last week. But the Jets still have everything that they want in front of them. If they win this game, they're sitting there in first place. The Dolphins, we will see what happens when Tua comes back, but the Patriots aren't going anywhere. I think it's a two-horse race between the Jets and the Bills. That's why I think it was, a good opportunity and time to make that move. And I said last week, I think if they lose that game, there's a great chance Saleh gets fired. They do, and they still have everything they want in front of them. They win this game, they're sitting there at first place in the AFC East. It's as simple as that. New juice, new energy, and a sense of urgency, I think, for everyone involved. Bills have really struggled over the past 2 weeks, and when you look at it, like this, everything that you want to achieve going forward is still in front of you. It's not like we're week 12 and you're a 5-7 team or something like that. You still have everything you want right in front of you, and I think that has to be the message from not only the interim head coach, but also Aaron Rodgers as well. And he knows that if he wants to make the most of this run with the New York Jets, it has to start now. And I think it's a great opportunity on Monday night against a limping Bills team right now. They've only averaged 15 points per game over their last two. They're 0-2 in those games, and this isn't an easy Jets defense to get moving on. So give me the Jets outright as the home dog. The luck of Joseph Kometz continues to ride. I'll go Jets 24, Bills 20, Jets +3, over 41.5. Definitely wouldn't bet that over. I don't like it at all, but I do like the Jets to win this game. All right, final two picks of the week. Sorry, we got 3 picks of the week now with our anytime touchdown parlay at the end. Lock of the week. Start us off. I will go Lions -3. I gave you all the data. Dan Campbell covering 69% of the time as head coach of the Detroit Lions. It's one of the best bets in all sports right now. So I'll ride with it until they start to go on a 2-3 game losing streak against the spread. I'll take the Lions each and every week. So Lions -3, lock of the week.
My lock of the week, I'm going a player prop, Marvin Harrison Jr., over 56.5 receiving yards, which is -114. Jair Alexander is potentially going to miss the game this week. And then I think Marvin Harrison Jr. Hasn't crossed the 56-yard mark in the past 2 weeks, but I think they look to get him more involved here. So Marvin Harrison Jr. over 56.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, and that's one of those players that could happen in 2 catches. So like that play. Dog of the day. I was going to go with the Broncos here in this one against the Chargers. We already talked about that one, so I'll go with another one. I think this could be an outright upset too. Panthers +6 at home against the Falcons. Falcons have squeaked by in a couple games. The miraculous comeback against the Eagles, miraculous comeback last week against the Bucs. When you go on the road, things like that don't happen as much. I know the one happened in Philly, but Panthers are a desperate team right now as well. You're giving me 6 points at home. I think that game could be settled by a field goal. Falcons aren't really blowing anyone out to start the year. So the Panthers +6. NFL underdogs are of 5.5 points or more are now 19-5-1 against the spread with 13 outright wins to start the year. So unbelievable number at cashing so far. Some other ones with that fit that trend this week. Commanders +6.5 at Baltimore. Cardinals +5 at Green Bay. Patriots +7 versus the Texans, and Browns +9 at the Eagles if you're looking at any other big dogs. But I'll go with Panthers +6 for my dog this week.
My dog of the day, I'm going Jags plus 1.5. We're plus 108 on the money line versus the Bears in London. Home game for the Jags. Neither team is great. I think the Jags can build off of their offensive performance last week.
Okay, and to finish it up, our new segment, our anytime touchdown parlay. I went to DraftKings to cook this one up. Um, Spits out at plus 368 for these two legs. So my leg, James Conner, minus 105 against the Packers. I feel like that's going to be a high scoring game that gets up and down. And James Conner, anything around the goal line is typically his. So I like James Conner to get into the end zone. And just want to give him a shout out. I mean, I feel like he's been such a good, like solid player for a long time. He's not going to be a player that 30 years from now we're like, wow, he was an awesome Hall of Fame type running back, but just a solid running back that comes to work every single week. And he's been a pretty damn good fantasy player for me as well. So I'll go James Conner minus 105 against the Packers for my touchdown.
Yeah, my leg, I'm going A.J. Brown plus 165. Jalen has desperately missed him, and I think he's going to look for him often in the game against the Browns.
All right. And like we said, James Conner, AJ Brown, anytime touchdown parlay that pays out at plus 368. But as always, everyone, thank you for tuning in. Enjoy Thursday night football tonight if you tuned into the stream. And we will talk next week. And hopefully the Eagles aren't on the wrong side of that 9.5 trend. But as always, everyone, thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and we'll talk next week.